Hi, Kaisa. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm really grateful that you could come and speak to us.
No worries at all. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. It's been too long, hasn't it, with all this lockdown nonsense?
I know, maybe some normality soon.
I know. You never know. Fingers crossed. Kaisa, you've agreed to come and speak to us today about physical fitness and training and how that can benefit us as part of our wellbeing regime, and give some helpful hints and tips about, how we can exercise on a bit more of a budget if we haven't got a great deal of time. A lot of our viewers are busy working parents and carers. So we'll dive straight in if that's all right with you.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Brilliant. So Kaisa, can you help our audience, please, just by telling them a little bit about you and what you do to bring the magic to people's lives in terms of fitness and health and well-being?
Oh, the magic.
It is magical, though, what you do. It really is.
Yeah, no, I'm originally from Finland, in case someone's trying to place the accent. You probably can't. It's a mix of everything. And I started myself teaching classes when I was 15, when it was all aerobics and step aerobics and all that, and then moved to London to study when I was 18, and then been in the UK ever since. So I run mainly personal training sessions, group sessions. Then I freelance at some gyms doing spinning and boot camps, and I do some work for a couple of charities, doing sessions with their kids, and also more recently added more yoga into the fitness routine as well, and what I'm teaching. So quite a mixed broad of things that I do.
Yeah, so a broad range of experience and a long time of experience to be able to help us today, which is great. And you're relaunching your PT business, aren't you? Kaisa Bespoke Training.
Yeah,
which is really exciting.
Changing. I'm just rebranding it all. I've got a great little branding lady who's done it all for me and doing a website finally. And it's just all about kind of managing your time. I've got 3 kids myself, who are 9, 11 and 13, so I know how tough it can be as a parent, to fit everything in whilst you're working, you're parenting, you're trying to do, especially now with the lockdown, homeschooling. So it is a juggle. So I get that. It's all about finding time and what's possible for you to do in a time.
Yeah, because everybody, obviously, we're all busy, aren't we? But busyness is relative, I suppose. But everybody feels like they're busy, certainly. And there's only so many hours in the day. So we're all having to try, aren't we, every day to think, right, I've got this number of hours. I've got these number of hundreds of things to fit into the day. Something's got to give. And quite often the thing that gives is exercise, isn't it? And fitness. Why is it so important, Kaisa, that we make sure we keep making time for exercise?
I believe it's just because a lot of people think I need to train to look slim or to get muscle or that. But a lot of people neglect the fact that it's actually, as much as it is about your physical well-being, it's also for your mental side, and it's so important. And especially in the last, must be coming up to 4 months now that we've been in these crazy times, I think it's even more important than ever just to get that headspace. And even if you're busy working mum or busy working dad or a carer, it is always, you put yourself last. I think most people put themselves last. So kids come first, then you've got work, and then it's you, like on the bottom of the list. So I think even if you sectioned out 20 minutes a day or a couple of times a week to do something, it would make a massive difference. Just that headspace.
And it's like the old adage, isn't it, that you we're always told on airplanes, aren't we, you fit your own oxygen mask before trying to help others. And it's the same, isn't it, with well-being and fitness and health. If you're not feeling the best and not giving the best to yourself, it's much more difficult to give your best to others, isn't it, to our kids or whomever.
Absolutely. But sadly, like I said, and you agree, that is what usually takes the back seat. It's your own time and actually sectioning that time for you.
It's not a great message to give to ourselves, is it, that we come to at the very bottom of the list?
Oh, it's not. So I don't work on that, but it's just what happens so easily.
Yeah.
Because you everything else and everyone else. So even if you haven't got children, even people who are looking after, let's say, their parents who are elderly or anyone else. So yeah, it is tough to try and fit it all in. That's for sure.
So help us then with some hints on how we can do that. What kind of exercises can we do in a short space of time? How can we find time to exercise well in, across a week or a month so that we're actually giving ourselves the best chance of optimizing that time for our physical fitness and our mental well-being that you were just mentioning?
I think it's just, it's first of all, it's finding what you like, because there is so much out there now. And I think especially now with the lockdown and everything, there's a lot more content online and a lot of it is free. So there really isn't an excuse not to do anything. I'm sorry to say that, but there isn't, because you have got a lot of people who do kind of say, no, don't have the time, don't have the time. But even if you do the 15-20 minutes or something like that, so, you know, whether it's going out for a power walk or going for a cycle ride or a run, or even just doing something at home, and you don't even need equipment, so you can do body weight stuff. But if you have got something, you know, there's so much online now that you can find, and a lot of them are like short sessions that everyone should really be able to fit in. But it's just getting in that routine, and it's hard. I know it's absolutely tough if you're not really done much to try and get started. But once you are in that routine, and one thing I always say is try and find a friend to commit with, even if you can't physically go out and do stuff with them. Let's say you make a plan of 3 times a week, I will walk X amount or run X amount or do a certain amount of these classes, and find a friend or a relative or someone who will do it with you. So then you make yourself accountable. And that will then make you do more than if it's just for yourself and you think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it never happens. So find it.
Yeah. And I wanted to, because I've done a lot of your workouts online, which are fantastic. And if you wouldn't mind letting us know about the, letting our audience know where they can find you on YouTube in a minute. But your workouts, you do pretty much all body weight, don't you, on your online workouts? And one of the things I love about your workouts is that it's just one of the many things, Kaisa, I love about your workouts, genuinely, is that you are so innovative. You know, like you sort of, we don't need a bar, we can use the back of a chair. We don't need weights, we can use water bottles or champagne bottles. I think one of the girls was using one day, wasn't she? That was funny. But yeah, I mean, there is so much, as you say, you can do at home, and it can be from I mean, there's yoga, isn't there? There's Pilates, there's HIIT training. So it can be right from the most gentle exercise right through to the most rigorous workout, and it's all available to anyone to do in their home, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's another thing I have to say. You've just mentioned loads of them. Is for me personally as well, I get bored quite easily, which is why all my sessions are very, very varied. So even if we're doing a lower body session, this week it's this, next week it's something totally different. Sometimes we go for counts, sometimes we go reps, sometimes for time. You just need to keep it varied. And I also think you shouldn't just stick to one thing. Some people just run, or some people just lift weights, or some people just do yoga. It's so good to mix them all up, and actually everything benefits then the other. And I'm one thing about I need to mention is yoga, because I think a lot of people have this concept of yoga being just this whiffy waffy kind of breathe in and breathe out and you just meditate, which again, there are a lot of sessions like that out there. But there's also a lot of more challenging sessions, more dynamic yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and more people are luckily realizing that even for strength training or any sort of professional sport, like even rugby, they do that on the side to improve their performance. So it's just it's just for people to kind of look what's out there and then finding the things they like and then picking some sort of routine and but mixing it up as much as you can really is what I would keep it moving and not getting not getting bored really.
Exactly. And I think the point that you made earlier on about finding something that you like is really important if you don't have a lot of time and you find exercise as something you've got to do rather than something that you really look forward to, because it just takes the edge off, doesn't it? It makes it a little bit easier to get out of bed in the morning or switch your open your MacBook or your laptop or whatever and hit play. That's the hardest part, isn't it? That's the bit that we have to get over. And once we're going, we're off. I just something that I wanted to ask you actually, it's just come to me. For people who haven't done online workouts before, I know I've done yours, and I think one of the things that's great about them is that you really do explain what you're doing and what your expectation is of the person at home, and you also give modifications, don't you?
Yes, always based on injury or disability or fitness level or age or anything.
So your workouts really are accessible to everybody, quite deliberately, aren't they?
And that's actually a good point to say, because again, like I said, there's so much out there, which is brilliant, but there's also sadly a lot of stuff that the instructors aren't necessarily, how do I put it? They're not necessarily actually taking into account that some people doing this at home could be completely new to exercise. They don't know what a squat should look like, or what a plank hold should look like, or how do you do certain things. So I usually give for each and every exercise that I do, whether it's on body weight or your champagne bottles or your dumbbells, whatever cans you're using, I usually give about 3 options, and then say you stay at the level that you're comfortable with, and that is all about form. It's all about form before you think you get the reps in and you get that in. So that is really important. I'm glad you brought that up. It's super important.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing the correct form of every exercise. Yeah,
it's really important, and obviously you avoid injury that way.
Yes, and also can I come back to yoga again? Also, really helps with injuries, or making sure that you don't get them, just to work on ability and strength.
I read what you were saying there about having the combination, how important it is. I can't remember the name of the chap, and I'll put it in the comments below this video, but I just finished a book called You Can't Hurt Me, and it was about who was his name?
Goggins, the ex-Army SEAL guy. He's incredible. There you go. But anyway, he's incredible. Like, his attitude to everything is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing so much physical exercise. I mean, proper hardcore, wasn't it? Ultra marathons and did it for years. And then all of a sudden his body just decided, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And he literally couldn't get out of bed. And he discovered that the way he nursed himself back to health was through stretching, wasn't it? Through stopping the dynamic exercise and bringing it back to more, actually starting to listen to his body and being kind to his body. And then I think he's gone on then to do a mixture of things.
No, that's a good. He's an actual brilliant guy to follow. If anyone's on Instagram, or like you said, you've read the book, I've read the book, definitely add that in the comments, because he's a very motivational guy.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. Just one final question for you, about going back to parents and carers point, and squeezing things into a busy day. Obviously, we mostly as parents and carers want to encourage our children to be healthy and to exercise, and combining that as a task with our own workouts as a task and everything else. Is there a way that we can combine our fitness objectives for our kids and for us by working out together? What sort of things could we think about doing for that?
Well, where do I start? There's so much. There generally is so much. Let's say, for example, with my kids, they be in different ages, but kind of a bit older, it gets a little bit easier, I suppose, to add them into yours. But we've been doing runs together, or if I've gone for a run, they've gone on their bikes or their penny boards, or even if it's just going to shoot some hoops, in basketball hoops on the field, and even just doing bodyweight things. They've been joining in my sessions when I've been doing bodyweight stuff. And with my daughter, she's going to be 14, we've been doing proper workouts. And I know a lot of parents as well who have been doing these kind of bodyweight stuff online with their children, because that's kind of them being the kids' PE, and then the parents get a workout at the same time. And it's just nice to have time as well together out of the busy life, but you can combine the two. And I've got quite a few clients who, even before all this happened, would train with dads would train with their daughters, or mums with their sons and daughters. And it's so nice to see. And it's such a good example to set for your children as well from a young age, to show that you being active and then get the kids involved. But there is a lot. Or another good one, boxing. So that's another good one really to do, just to do some pad work, and it's just fun. But yeah, just keep getting creative. There's so much really. Or just go and chuck a rugby ball about, or whatever your kids are into, and you will soon realize that actually you are getting a good workout yourself as well.
Yeah, so sometimes it's less about trying to make them do what we want, and perhaps a bit more about us joining in with what they like.
Yeah, and just finding like a happy medium. But it can be done, and it's just like I said, it's a nice time away from kind of all the busy life of your work and the kids' school and this, that, the other, or take them for a long walk somewhere new that you haven't been, and go and explore. Just simple things, really, which you kind of take for granted, and then you realise that how often do you actually do that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
not enough probably is the answer for all of us.
Not enough. No, exactly.
Not enough. Oh, Kaisa, thank you so much for joining us today. Really, it's been so helpful and great to talk to you as always. Just before we go, can you tell our viewers the name of your of the YouTube channel that your workouts are posted to?
So I've got, my website is coming literally live later on today or tomorrow, and it's kaisabespoketraining.com. You can share in the comments, and then the YouTube. So it's got all the list of my Zoom sessions that are live, which vary, like I said, from yoga to spinning to bodyweight stuff, and then the YouTube channel that my friend set up. It's easily found. You go YouTube and you put Isolation TV by Loudspeaker. And every Wednesday I've been posting a workout there as well. And it's been, again, a complete mix of body weight, one weight session, kettlebell session, spinning, body weight again. So, and it's all free, and it's easily accessible. And every Wednesday morning there's a new workouts. And like I said, on the body weight ones especially, just get your younger kids involved and just do it together. And they're short and sweet, and you will get very sweaty. But it's something that you can do together with the whole family.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Kaisa. And I'm sure there'll be questions that follow from our viewers. So hopefully you'll come and join us again soon and we can answer some of those.
Brilliant. Nice
Thank
speaking.
you, Kaisa. Good to speak to you too. Have a good rest of the day. Bye. Bye.